Hello, how are you?
Hi, good, thanks.
My name's Sean. I'm your nursing assistant. May I check your ID bracelet?
Yes.
All right. Hi, Miss Teresa. What I'd like to do is do some foot care on you today. Would that be okay?
Of course.
All right. Well, you have your call bell. I'm gonna go wash my hands and gather some supplies. If you need me, just give me a call.
Okay.
All right. At this time, I'd step over and wash my hands using proper technique. When I return, I'm gonna don my gloves. And anytime I place gloves on, I'm thinking about privacy for the resident. Miss Teresa, may I shut your door for privacy?
Of course.
All right. And then I'm going to go ahead and gather my supplies. Now for this procedure, I'm going to need two washcloths and 2 towels. The first towel is going to be my barrier on my overbed table. My second towel will be used for my clean field down on the floor where I do the foot care or provide foot care. And I'm going to need at least 2 washcloths. If I get an extra one, that's okay. All right, Miss Teresa, do you mind if I go on your bedside table?
Sure.
All right. So I'm going to grab some lotion and soap. And I'm also going to go ahead and grab her wash basin. All right, Miss Teresa. I'm going to go place some water in this basin. I'll be right back. I won't be far. Just call me if you need me.
Okay.
All right, Miss Teresa, could you test that water and see if it's comfortable?
It is.
Okay, you want that to be no more than 105 degrees. And at this time, I'm going to set my clean field down on the floor and prepare to provide foot care to the resident. Should be pretty good. Okay. All right, Miss Teresa, I'm just going to set a towel down here on the floor. And I'm going to go ahead and get this close to you. And I'm going to just push your foot up a little bit and support her foot. And I'm going to remove her shoe, never touching the bottom of the shoe. And I'm also going to remove her sock and place it inside the shoe. All right, Miss Teresa, I'm going to set your foot on this clean field. You never want to set the resident's foot directly on the floor. The floor is dirty and cold. And I'm going to go ahead and transition my supplies down here. Miss Teresa, I'm going to go ahead and soak your foot in this basin, okay? Now, when you place the foot in the basin, make sure the pant leg is rolled up. It's real easy to forget when you take it out of the basin to roll it back down when you're done. And let me move the rest of my supplies. I know that I'm going to need soap and lotion and a rag to wash and a rag to dry. How's that feel, Miss Teresa?
Great.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and wet a washcloth. And we only do 1 foot on test day. You just want to be able to demonstrate that you know how to use proper technique to provide foot care. All right, I'm going to go ahead and make my mitten. And you want all nice soft seams, no hard seams there. And one trick for test day, and really in the real world, is when you don't put too much soap, too much water. Don't be too excessive with anything. All right, I'm going to go ahead and soap up my mitten. I'm going to use this to wash the foot between the toes, the top, the bottom. All right, Miss Teresa, I'm going to just raise your foot out. Okay, so I'm going to wash her foot, the top, the sides, the back, the bottom. How are you doing, Miss Teresa?
Great, thank you.
Okay. And I'm going to wash between her toes. Now the great thing about a mitten, I can use a different finger to wash between each toe. There's 1 finger, 2 fingers, 3 fingers, and 4. All right, Miss Teresa. I'm going to go ahead and rinse your foot here, okay?
Okay.
I've supported her foot the entire time. Go ahead and rinse her foot and get all the soap off. Usually feels pretty nice. Alright, Miss Teresa, I'm going to take your foot out of this water and set it back onto the towel. Let's go ahead and get this basin out of the way since we're done. And now, my drying washcloth is going to be much the same technique I used to wash. I'm going to use to rinse and dry. Or to dry, that is. We rinsed it by submerging it back in the basin. So let me go ahead and set up my mittens so I could dry her foot the same way. Alright, Miss Teresa. Now it's very important that we leave no moisture between the toes. That's why I prefer to use a washcloth as opposed to a towel, because I can use my fingers to really dry between those toes nice and good. There's one finger, two fingers, because moisture between the toes can lead to skin breakdown, and that's why it's so important. Alright, Miss Teresa, how's that feel?
Very nice.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and lower her pant leg so I don't forget while I'm thinking about it. Miss Teresa, would you like some lotion on your foot?
Great.
Alright, never apply lotion directly to the resident's foot. Put it on in your gloved hands, warm it up, and then we can place some lotion right on her foot. Now you can see I'm steering way clear of the toes. We don't want lotion between the toes because we've already learned moisture will cause breakdown. If there's excess lotion, I have this drying towel still. I can wipe that off. Alright, how's that feel, Miss Teresa?
Very nice.
Okay, so I'm just going to transfer my supplies back up. Also give my legs a little bit of a break from standing. And now I can replace the resident's socks and her shoe. Alright, Miss Teresa. Okay. Okay, how's that feel?
Good.
Okay. Alright, so what I'm going to do is support her leg lifted up and move this clean field out of the way. Now I'm never going to touch the bottom of her shoe, but I'm going to assist her to put her shoe back on. Alright, Miss Teresa, how's that?
Great.
Her pants leg is down. And now I'm going to go ahead and clean my sterile field up here. Miss Teresa, you have your call bell. Do you need anything else?
No.
Alright, so now I'm going to transition to cleaning up. The resident's taken care of. Her foot looks good. She has her call bell. So let's clean the room. Okay. Alright, this time I'm going to go to the restroom and I'm going to pour the water into the toilet or bedside commode, never into the sink. I'm going to rinse from the cleanest to dirtiest or outside in, and I'm going to dry from outside in or cleanest to dirtiest. Let's do that now. Okay, now I'm going to demonstrate how to wash or clean a wash basin. Okay, now we're going to demonstrate how to take care of a wash basin when you're done with its use. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do, none of the contents of the wash basin ever go into the sink. So I'm going to use a barrier and raise the toilet seat of this bedside commode. Now that I've touched that bedside commode with it, I'm not going to use it as a barrier for anything. I'm going to carefully dump my water in there. Okay, I'm going to get this barrier and turn on my water. Now, it's very difficult to rinse this big basin in this little sink without touching it, so I'm going to use a napkin to help rinse it. Again, we're going to rinse from outside in, our cleanest point to dirtiest point, okay? So let's do that now. I'm going to really saturate my rag. Do your best not to touch the sink, but it's really difficult. Okay, I'm not going to make a career out of being down there. Alright, I'm just going to use this to swish some water around. Again, I'm going to dump it into the bedside commode, not the sink. I'm done with the water, so I'll turn that off. And let me go ahead and dry this. Again, I'm going to dry from the outside in, or cleanest point to dirtiest point. In the medical field, it's a good practice to always do things from the cleanest to the dirtiest. If you're going to touch something clean, do it first, okay? You don't want to drag anything dirty onto something clean, okay? I'm going to finish cleaning this inside point, this innermost point. I'm pretty happy with that. I want to make sure that I close this toilet lid, and now that I've touched this toilet lid, I'm not going to use this barrier any longer. Now I'm going to take a barrier back to open the door of the bedside dresser or table and place this bedpan back where I got it, or this wash basin back where I got it. All right, Miss Teresa, do you mind if I go back in your bedside table?
No, not at all.
Okay. I'm going to make sure that I have a barrier to open this door. Place that bedside or wash basin back in the bedside table, and the soap and lotion back as well. Miss Teresa, do you mind if I open your door?
No.
All right, we want to make sure everything's back where we originally found it. This is the residence room. We want to leave it nice and tidy. All right. All right. Okay, so now I'm going to come over here and do a post-procedure check again. And I see the resident has her call bell in her hand, her non-skid footwear's back on. She's sitting up, looks safe. The door's open, all the supplies are put back where they should be. And I'm going to go ahead and deglove. Go wash my hands using proper technique and return and announce to the evaluator, end of skill.